I must preface this by saying like I've been an eggnog junkie my whole life, man. When I was a little
Oh
kid,
yeah.
oh man, all of December, like I would have drank it year round, and my mom's probably really glad that they like cut off the supply after about January 1st. Oh man, so good. The 10th of this year's 12 Beers of Christmas is a real holiday treat. An eggnog imperial cream ale brewed and sent to us by Rusty Burrell, aka Rusty Barrel Homebrewing. From the spiced flavor of this warming ale to the classic eggnog carton can label, Rusty really outdid himself with this one. He and I hang out for a virtual tasting and talk through the recipe of this amped up cream ale made all the more jolly with lactose, vanilla, and nutmeg. And worry not, no actual eggnog was hurt in the brewing of this beer. Our 12 Beers of Christmas video series is brought to you with support from Imperial Yeast and our Patreon party people who guide this sleigh all year round. Join them at patreon.com/chopandbrew. Y'all, the 10th beer of Christmas is something unlike anything I've ever had. I'm here with Rusty Burrell, aka Rusty Barrel Brewing. What up, Rusty?
Yo, yo, what's up, man? I can't believe I'm here with Chip Walton on Chop and Brew. Hi, Mom. I'm on Chop and Brew.
If you don't follow Rusty already on Instagram and YouTube, I'm gonna say you need to, and that's how I found about this beer that we're about to get into. Rusty, real quick, throw out your handle.
It's Rusty Barrel Homebrewing. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Try to put a little something on everything. So
Oh
check
man,
me out.
Rusty brewed, y'all. He brewed the eggnog imperial cream ale. Oh man, and so I have some of it. He sent it. He sent us an awesome care package of not only this beer, but a couple other beers that we're gonna meet up with Rusty after the new year and do a full fledged meet the brewer kind of episode. But for now, we are going to enjoy the eggnog imperial cream ale. And I even brought myself a chaser of eggnog, so it was
Yes,
cool as
yes.
hell when I saw you posting on Instagram. You were trying to kind of mimic the flavors. Yeah, first and foremost, I just definitely walk us through the recipe. First off, do you love eggnog, or is this just like a random?
I I do love eggnog. I don't drink that much of it because I usually am drinking beer. I usually get like one carton worth per season, um, and I don't go too overboard on it. But I do love the taste of eggnog. So I've always had an eggnog beer in the back of my head. My recipe. I first created it like maybe like 3 years ago. It was originally supposed to be an eggnog stout, and I was kind of playing around with the idea, how should I do it and stuff. And then I don't know if it was this year or last year. I hadn't brewed it at all until this year. Um, this year I kind of had the idea of, everybody's brewing stout, pastry stout, throw whatever into the stout. I thought, why don't we make, eggnog is a light colored drink, make a light colored beer and see if we can do it that way. So that's basically kind of how the beer came to be. I don't know if you can see. It's
Mhm.
not too clear, but it is, it's fairly clear. Um, so yeah,
So the big stars of this are nutmeg, vanilla, and lactose, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Talked a little bit
So
about using those three things and how they kind of
yeah,
represent
just
that eggnog flavor.
yeah. Yeah, well, like if you look at what eggnog is made out of, minus the eggs, it's mostly vanilla and sugar and uh, what else? Vanilla and sugar, and usually topped with nutmeg. So I thought
Nutmeg,
I'll just
yeah.
go heavy on those. Yeah, I don't you drink eggnog, you don't taste eggs, so I thought I could probably get by without, I'm obviously not gonna put eggs into the beer. So I just thought I did. It was two whole vanilla beans. It was a pound and a half of lactose in 5 gallon batch, and I can't remember how much. It doesn't say on here how much nutmeg,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, because I added. Okay, I put 3.5 tablespoons in, but I added more later because when I went to keg it, it wasn't super eggnoggy. So I might have added double that, like 7 teaspoons. My
Okay.
notes kind of fall apart after brew day, so
We'll post a link to your recipe in the video description. But kind of long story short, 2 row base, some Crystal 10, flake barley and flaked oats, which you definitely get on top of that lactose. It helps it not be this like crisp cream ale. It's got some body. It's got some lingering richness. Cane sugar, acidulated malt, which I was really interested by, and rice hulls, obviously. The acidulated malt, is that more of a water balancing thing, or is that something
yeah, that's
it does say, it
yeah,
literally
that's
says like
different.
salt on my eggnog. Not that acidulated malt is salt, but this other flavor component.
No, I usually add that for pH in my mash instead of
Okay,
using like acid or something.
gotcha.
But
So,
yeah,
dude, it tastes like eggnog. It really does. It tastes like without the viscousness, that like
yeah,
pancake batter texture to it.
right, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of going for like a like kind of a thin beer, like a cream ale would be, but it's it's obviously not as like dry and light as a cream ale, but it's something that just looks like regular beer, and then you taste it, and it's like, oh, that tastes like eggnog.
Have you
So
given it to anybody who didn't know what they were about to taste, and just to gauge
I
that?
should I should do that. I took it to Homebrew Club, and um, I was like, hey, you guys got to try my eggnog beer, and everybody's like, oh no, 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 and then they tried it, and it actually
They-
tastes like eggnog. So, in Homebrew Club, you can run into some pretty weird stuff, but
Mhm.
luckily they I think they would have told me if it was bad too. So they've told me other stuff is bad.
Well, something
But
that strikes me as I'm having it now, it's really interesting because, like, if you gave it to me blind and didn't say, "Hey, guess what dessert or beverage I'm emulating?" Like, I would have thought it was like a Belgian triple or like a Belgian strong golden, because that nutmeg, because you
yeah,
fermented this with US-05, so it's clean. The
yeah,
nutmeg
yeah,
gives it the spiciness that only
yeah,
almost kind of psych outs as like a Belgian yeast. Like, there's
yeah.
nothing about this that couldn't be just a spice forward
Right.
like golden ale.
I, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that does make sense. It is, sweeter a little bit than a Belgian probably would be, but um, yeah, I could get that. I mean, probably it would make a good stout, but like eggnog doesn't have like coffee and chocolate roasted flavors in it, so I just didn't really like. I kind of wanted to avoid that and really make it taste more like eggnog instead of like an eggnog inspired stout.
Yeah, I respect your ability to just not take a pastry stout and throw a bunch of stuff in it. Like, it's so easy to do.
I do that too, but not for this beer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, going back and forth, obviously. I mean, eggnog. I was looking at the nutritional label. It's like 26% of the sugar you should have all day. So that's why, A, I poured a small glass, and B, I won't finish it probably, but
I'm surprised it's not more, man. That stuff is loaded.
yeah. And
I've been
I
trying
remember,
to have my beer on separate nights than the eggnog because I'm scared I'm gonna taste the eggnog and it's just gonna like make this taste like Bud Light.
no, I can tell you, going back to it, it doesn't neutralize it at all. If anything, I feel like it kind of makes that nutmeg pop, because I think there's nutmeg in eggnog, but it's not as present as it would be, like you said, if you rim it or top it with it. Whereas
Right.
like this beer, between the spice, a little bit of the effervescence pushing it out. No, that is a cool, super fun beer. I'm really excited. I'm really happy
Yeah,
that you
man.
sent it. I mean, honored to get like some straight up branded merch from the Rusty
Cheers.
Barrel Home Brewery, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I think if anybody's interested, if you like eggnog, period, or as we just discussed, if you just kind of almost like this spiced golden ale that doesn't have a bunch of egg whites in it, it's still a beer. You can,
Yeah.
most people I think can still wrap their head around this very easily around the
Yeah.
holiday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to brew too. Wasn't anything too complicated. Um, so yeah, check out the recipe, and let me know if you tag me if you're gonna brew it.
Yeah.
Probably late this year, but next year.
Yeah, follow Rusty at all the places. We're going to get him back on because he's done some pro-am stuff that's kind of mind-blowing with Stone. He's a daddy. He's a double daddy. So he's always got some good, like, life brew balance hacks going on. And, like, dude, where it's out, he lifts kegs during boil and mash, man. No moment wasted.
Yeah, man. Yep.
All right, Rusty. Cheers. Merry Christmas, brother. Thank you so much for sending this along.
All right, cheers. Thanks
honor.
for having me on, man.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this year's 12 Beers of Christmas are slowly coming to a close, but not before 2 last wonderful beers and conversations. Tomorrow, for the 11th beer of Christmas, my buddy Rob and I hang out in the snow and crack a can of something naughty, Krampus blood, from Wake Brewing. And the grand finale, our 12th beer of Christmas, a St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. I get together to share that with Dono and Dawson, and we look back at some of our favorite ghosts of beers past. That's coming up December 23rd and 24th here on Shop and Brew.